All right. Now, this show might be pretty good, and it might leave an impression, and you might want to go seek it out because Martin really liked Pirates of Darkwater. I thought Biker Mice was fun. This might be my favorite show we've watched for this exploration so far. None other than Mighty Max.
Hiyo!
Oh,
Oh, it's a good one.
it's great. So even with like something I was super enthusiastic about, like biker mice, I was like, yeah, I might watch an episode here and there. I'm currently still consuming this show far
Yeah.
beyond the episodes you recommended to me because I genuinely love this.
Oh, I am very happy to hear this. So were you aware of the show before you went in? I think you maybe might have seen a few clips here and there.
Yeah, I saw some discussion on our home forums of like Skullmaster and Mighty Max here and there because of all of our emphasis on villains and stuff. And I was like, and I knew it was an offshoot of Polly Pocket, that it was
Yeah.
Polly Pocket for boys, and that it was also alliterative, Mighty Max. But I didn't know much else about it, and my expectations weren't high. I was like, okay, let's see what this is about, and I was just blown away.
Yeah, I mean, I was a huge fan of both the toys and the show back in the day. And to this day, I think the toys are amazing. Maybe one of my favorite ever toy lines, if not the favorite, just because I love like the concept of entire worlds opening up out of little playsets and
That's
heads
cool, yeah.
and having different figures that you can fit into these environments. I love that. And
I have to I was surprised too because Polly Pockets, they persisted far past Mighty Max, as far as I know. Like, I
yeah,
still saw commercials for Polly Pocket, at least where I lived in the U.S. When I was a kid, and I hadn't heard of Mighty Max. And those toys always struck me as kind of shoddy. Like, they had the similar playsets, but they just looked tiny and rubber and easily edible by babies. I didn't like.
yeah.
So I'm surprised Mighty Max, on the other hand, had such a high par of design.
I guess Polly Pocket was a bit more sort of bland in terms of colors and environments. They had to do like houses and swimming pools and just like everyday stuff, whereas Mighty Max could just go all out and just do these bizarre, horrific, intricate environments.
All those
Uh,
like bloody skulls that I found and were just
yeah.
sending you.
I mean, I think every place it has like a corpse in it somewhere. There's always some
Jeez.
sort of skull or a bone or a guy tied to some chains in the background. They
The
really go all
designated
out.
the designated victim, if you will.
There really is, yeah. When they were like, we need to do Polly Pocket, but for boys, they really went all out in going, what are boys like? Well, they
Blood.
like blood and gore and horror and monsters. And they like cranked that up to about 100, which
Ugh.
I think also the case with this show. They really translate the toys very well to the show, I
Oh,
think.
it's awesome. It's harsh. It's pretty dark.
Yeah.
They don't shy away from death and killing. Like they're constantly like, "You're gonna die, child."
Yeah.
But let's. Oh man, I was so impressed by everything about it. But let's not get super ahead of ourselves. I guess we can talk about the main character, Mighty Max, who I think one of the best choices they made is that he's not voiced by a kid. His voice caught me off guard a little at first because it's just Rob Paulson doing Rob Paulson.
Yeah.
But it not only like you get used to it pretty fast, but it helps him be really likable because he's just genuinely a funny kid. He's not just like a child's voice would come off like it's trying too hard with some of these zingers, but Paulson's delivery is just like really good, and it helps you just really like Max as just a likable good guy.
Yeah, I feel like getting Rob Paulson in, you forget that Max is just a kid and you just kind of accept that he's the main hero of the show without going, oh, that kid's like 12, isn't he? You just
Yeah,
kind of forget, you accept it.
Whoa, what a rush! Man, I don't think they made this one in Taiwan. I guess I blew a fuse or something.
Because he does so well at delivering all the comedy dialogue. And he's like a reluctant hero, but he's not a whiny hero. And I think if
exactly.
they had played him completely straight and had him be like, "We gotta stop Schoolmaster, man," or something like that, I don't think it would have worked. So they make him like a very sarcastic, sardonic character, which I
He's
think really
very
helps.
he's very flawed and human in that he is capable of like being pretty selfish and not wanting to bother with it. But that makes him really easy to follow, and like it's he does go through with his stuff and learn stuff. But yeah, I think they did a good job of building how a kid would reasonably react to this kind of like, no, I don't want to be the chosen one. Are you kidding me? I don't want to
Yeah,
deal with zombies and stuff.
yeah, he's a reluctant hero, but he gets on with it and he does the job.
Yeah.
Um,
And I like that he's also he's capable of being kind of a like even in his like social life, like he's capable of being a little mean to his friends. There's the Charlie Adler nerd kid that he's like very mean to.
oh yeah,
But it kind of circles back within the arc. It's just like you don't think, oh, what a jerk. It's just, he's a kid. It's very reasonable.
yeah, and they really pad out like his relationships with every character in the show. I think like you've got his mom, you've got like his relationship with Norman and his relationship with Virgil, and his relationship with his other friends. Um, like he treats everybody in a different way, and he feels like a very real protagonist.
Completely. That's what I also really love about this show is that like I was under the impression that it had a premise of him going to a magical world and being stuck there, but it's actually the monsters coming here. And I find that way more interesting because you get to see how different creatures and stuff interact with settings we kind of know. And just as well, we get to explore his relationships with people. Like his family gets involved, his friends get involved. I think that's a lot more, like, I think for a change, that's a lot more interesting than dropping him in a foreign world, like I kind of thought we were going to get.
Yeah, I agree. It's a show that really emphasizes the ramifications of your actions. I think at times as well.
Oh, yes. I I've heard how the show ends, and it messes me up a little because it's very dark. Well, that maybe not dark, but rather unnerving. Because to justify reruns, they explain that Max is just in an eternal time loop, right?
Not an eternal time loop, but yeah, the finale of the series is that everybody dies, um, except for Max and Skullmaster, and Max manages to pull something off at the last minute where he goes back to the first episode, but he has all the knowledge of the rest of the series. So the series ends with him going, "Oh,
Oh,
this time I can stop Skullmaster," which is a bit of a cop-out ending.
I
But
okay. I was under the impression it was just, and then Max would do it again and again, which is very. I'm glad to hear it's at least a little more. But I agree that sounds like kind of a rushed ending. But was this like cut off before its time for any reason? Because it's a little bit short, only 40 or so episodes.
I honestly don't know. I don't know if it was that was always their intended ending or if they cancelled it. My suspicion personally is that maybe the ending they wanted to go with was that like Virgil and Norman die, but Max saves the world and stops Skullmaster, and it's kind of a downer ending. But that maybe the studios were like, "You can't do this. Everybody's dead. We need to continue selling toys. Are you crazy?" And they changed it back because they've never shied away from killing off characters prior to this in the show. I know
But
they weren't
oh
meant
my
to,
gosh,
but
the Magnificent Seven, where they kill off the four new
everybody.
characters. I did not think anything on this podcast of exploration of 90s cartoons would make me cry a little. But when he sets up the grave for those four warriors he just met
Yeah.
and formed bonds with, and they gave their lives to like hold off, that messed me up. That was such a good episode.
Yeah, I like the fact that every time you have a Skullmaster episode, will usually murder somebody, or
Oh yeah.
he will achieve something, which I guess brings us on to Skullmaster, who
Maybe
is no, go
maybe
ahead.
controversial, maybe sacrilegious. He read a bit generic to me, but
Hmm.
I also think out of what I got a chance to watch, I only caught two episodes of him. Those being the pilot and Magnificent Seven. So I don't think I got necessarily his full shebang.
Those are very much the episodes where he's like a standard villain of the week, I would say.
Okay, so I
Like
gotta dive a little more to get a little more better of him.
Yeah, I think in season 2 they really expand his characterization because he escapes from Skull Mountain and he's out in the world. And he has different episodes where, like, you see him pulling off, like, I guess a Xanatos Gambit type thing, where he's got this long-running plan, and he actually has a few episodes where he pulls off part of the plan at the end. So they give him kind of a
Ooh.
victory, and it's sort of building towards the finale.
And when you say he escapes and interacts with the world, do you mean like out like Max's world, like he's just out and about in modern society?
He never really, like, you don't see Skullmaster just like in a city.
Okay.
He gets out from the center of the earth where he's trapped in the second season.
That's still interesting. I gotta check out that then. Like I'm probably gonna watch this whole series, but I'm excited to reach that part now that you say that.
The sun! To feel the sun again. To feel the wind. To be in the day world. To be free! So much for your prophecy, old friend. And thank you, mighty one, for the role you played in my destiny.
And I mean, very notably as well, out of 40 episodes, I think Skullmaster only appears in 9 or 10 episodes. So he's not like overused. He's not like Skeletor or Megatron in that he shows up every single week with a new plan. He's kind of in the background for a lot of it. And they just bring
That's
him in for the
interesting.
big episodes.
And not for bad reason, because when they pull off just like the one-time monster of the week, they leave a huge impression. Because I also saw you recommended me The Clown Without Pity. That was incredible.
Oh,
And
you
I also
watched
saw
that
the
one.
oh yeah, and I saw the Brain Suckers as well, as I mentioned, with the Charlie and those like kind of xenomorph looking monsters. That was kind of neat.
And you watched the Brad Garrett voiced Spike as well. I think.
Yes. Oh yes,
Norman!
Spike. I was so happy to hear Brad Garrett is another bad guy. His voice is just so perfect for bad guys.
Norman! Guess who?
You don't suppose that could be the porter coming for our tickets, do you?
I so wish. I'm sure there's more of him like lurking within the 90s, and it just makes my day every time I find him. And he's just full psychotic bad dude in this one.
He is terrifying in this
Ugh.
series. Like, he could have easily been a comedic villain, but he's really unnerving, and that constant Norman, like every time he shows up, he's such a relentless. And when he shoves the tree into his own face, and he's got it coming out of his brain and like through his nose, he's like full on Texas Chainsaw Massacre type bad guy. He's terrifying.
How was that? I know, how was that allowed? There had to be. I would love to learn more about the production of this show, because, like, yeah, like I said, we didn't really know why it ended or if it just reached its point. Because I'm surprised this went on for 40 episodes with how dark it could get. There's also Bring Me the Head of Mighty Max is an episode I saw where there's like a legion of zombies, and that was pretty creepy. And like between that and Spike and the very definite deaths, oh man, I was just like, I have to wonder.
When I rewatched the Spike episode, the amount of violence they got away with when they were showing Norman's father's death.
Yeah,
he gets stabbed twice, and you see it, and you hear the sword going into him, and like there's no like splattering of blood or anything, but it's obvious what's happened, and the guy's dead.
You think you could hurt me with a twig? You can't hurt me! Feels good!
Father, your axe! No! Father!
All right, son. Just hand me my axe. Sorry! No last requests!
Speaking of Norman, I love that guy too. He's such an effortlessly cool character. I love the way they write him.
I love how he's so nonchalant and calm about everything. Like he never rises to getting really angry. He takes everything in stride, and he's so sort of just like laid back.
Yeah, and do you know who does his voice? It's a very cool voice.
It's do you know this, or is it a rhetorical question?
I am wondering if you know. I don't know.
It's Richard Mall, who was Two-Face in
Oh, that's
Batman
cool.
the Animated Series, and Scorpion in Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Very cool. Okay, that tracks. I
Yeah.
love. Yeah, he's got that very raspy, but like you were saying, he likes being a big badass barbarian. He just loves every minute of it, and
And I
just
love
takes it in stride.
If you kill me, you'll be no better than me.
I can live with that.
but everyone gets so much depth and some sort of backstory. Like the episode where Virgil is sort of reflecting on his failure with the original Mighty One.
Oh man, that
He's
Virgil.
like, I
I
don't
want
want
to.
you to die. It's such a
That's Tony J, right?
that is Tony J. Yes.
Yeah, I find it funny that when we did animated pilots in our last meeting, we had a character named Virgil in Bubsy, and there was a bird mentor in Battletoads, and now we have a bird mentor named Virgil in Mighty Max.
The best of both worlds.
Oh yes.
Norman, give me your sword!
Mighty One, no! Not again! Give me the cap!
Norman, give me your sword!
No!
Forget the prophecy already, Virgil! What will be, will be!
But you see, I don't want you to die.
I like there's the educational elements of this show too, but I think they
Yeah.
pull it off pretty well because you can tell it's kind of mandated. Like you need to have something to make this worthwhile to show to children. So they have the little bit at the end where Max is like, "Today we fought in so and so, where there's this and that. Here's a zinger. Have a great day." But for what it's worth, they pull it off pretty well, and I do love that we see locations like the Taj Mahal, and we see when we fight the spiders, we go all the way to Seattle, the homeland of the greatest American hero, Fraser Crane.
They should have brought in Kelsey Grammer to do the voice of the spider.
Yeah. Dear God, Niles, massive spiders. Yes, let's ask Daphne to clean it up, brother. Oh, dear God.
Just cut to him like on the balcony as this massive spider tears apart. Dear God! I say, Fraser, a giant spider is terrorizing the city. Oh, is Maris back from the health clinic?
There were never giant spiders while I was on the force. Yes, Dad, we're aware.
Yeah, interestingly, there was going to be like another wave of toys, which I think was going to be called Mighty Max Into the Battle Zone or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was going to feature an older looking Mighty Max, and he was in like a leather jacket, and he was a bit more muscular. And like he's obviously in like his late teens, maybe by this point. And I think it would have been interesting if they'd done another season of the cartoon where you'd gotten like an older, more like grizzled Max as the main character.
Yeah.
And maybe if the toys had continued, we would have gotten that.
I would have, like a Mighty Max Beyond. I could see Max because he's already kind of cynical and kind of curt and honest. I wonder if like maybe losing Virgil and Norman makes him grow into like almost an anti-hero. I could see him becoming very jaded and just very craven to his prior worst tendencies, which is saying a lot for a character named Mighty Max. But I could like this. He seems like he has gone through some trauma, and I'd be interested to see. Maybe I'm taking it way too seriously. Like it needs to be more fun than that. But I'd be interested to see like just what level of sarcasm and perhaps even some kind of brutality he would reach as older Mighty Max.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right there, and I think they probably could have gotten a third season out of that concept.
Yeah.
Definitely, maybe if the Toyland continued, that's the way it would have gone. There was also a character that they kept hyping up in the toys, but you never really saw much of him, called Doom. and he was like this hooded sorcerer type character. And I
Mm.
always felt like maybe they were building up Doom to be the new main villain. And if they did like a third season, Doom would have been like he would have taken over as the bad guy of the show, maybe.
That's interesting. I love a good hood. Good hood is a good
Yeah,
aesthetic.
he was a cool looking character, and I think they were planning to do some. I may be wrong about this, but I think like they were doing these little figure packs, and one of them was called like Norman's Conquerors or something along those lines. And I'm pretty sure it was
Mm.
the characters from the Magnificent Seven episode. So maybe they would have brought them back.
I would have loved to see that because I love those designs and those characters.
Hmm.
Oh,
Bring it
man,
back,
well,
guys. I'd watch another series. Get all the
me
same people
too.
back. I think Tony
All
J
the same.
passed away now, but
Yeah,
everyone
I think
else,
he's
rope
gone.
them back in.
I'd watch it. But I'm also kind of happy this is like this is another thing where it's like, I think if they brought it back today, it would look and feel very different. And I'm almost happy this is like a lightning in a bottle thing that just is what it was for its time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very nice set of 40 episodes, which has kind of a beginning, a middle, and an end.
40 is nothing to sneeze at, really.
That's decent.
Whereas a lot of shows get like 25 or 13.
Yeah, I'm glad this wasn't just a 13 episode season, because if they'd ended on episode 13, it would have been very depressing.
Yeah.
The one where everyone dies.
Ugh, don't get me started. Oh, well, I I heartily recommend this.
Yes, I also heartily recommend it. So if you've not had a chance, head over to the Mighty Max Restoration Project and start watching those episodes because it is well worth your time.